take all these environments and really get down to the ad unit itself and understand the impressions for that ad unit, understand the audience it's reaching, and then be able to deduplicate those audiences across all those platforms, and then finally connect it to the outcomes.
This is your media cartographer, Evan Shapiro for Big Brains at Cannes. I've got Sean Muller, founder and CEO of iSpot. I have so much I want to talk to you about, but mostly let's talk about the state of, what are you hearing? We're in this weird period between the upfront and Cannes. We're actually not between, we're here. What are you hearing in the market? What's the mood? What are you hearing out on the Croisette as far as chatter goes?
Yeah, I mean, what we're hearing a lot, not just out here, but just in the marketplace, is video is getting fragmented, right? And advertisers want a unified view of all their video investments, which now run not just traditional linear and even streaming. They run into digital, social, walled gardens. They want it all together. There's a lot of chatter about also outcome measurement, and of course, AI, which I'm sure we'll talk about here. So,
and you've announced a bunch of partnerships. You just announced one with National Cinemedia, who friends of mine, and another with Roku. Is partnerships, obviously it's a part of our business, and it's very difficult, especially for a company like yours, to function and succeed without the types of partnerships that you're building. But what do you look for in a partnership when you're out there looking for someone to do business with in this moment in time?
Yeah, I mean, it all goes back to this notion, which is very important to advertisers and hence to us, of unifying all video and bringing all video measurement together in one platform with consistent metrics. That requires a lot of partnerships, right? So our partnerships are really driven by the advertisers. Wherever the advertisers want to invest in video, we will be there. We will partner there. We will invest there. And actually, National Cinemedia is a great example. That's video that's in the movie theaters, right? And so again, it's this notion of unifying all video wherever advertisers are investing in it.
And you mentioned AI. There's been a lot of talk about AI. I was talking to Dan Callahan from Spectrum yesterday, where they're using AI to generate 15,000 ads in a day for small medium-sized businesses. Obviously, AI plays a huge role in targeting, textual targeting, addressable, making each buy smarter on programmatic. One, where do you see AI having its greatest influence, let's say in the next 12 months? I think we'll see it go wider after that, obviously. And then two, we're at the Festival of Ideas where we're celebrating creativity. In an era where AI is making so many of these decisions in milliseconds, does creativity even matter anymore?
Yes, so I think with AI, we got to talk about use cases rather than saying AI will change the world. Everybody knows AI will change the world. But what are the use cases that matter most to marketers, right? And what I would say, a big use case that we're tackling is this notion of getting to insights faster, getting faster, better insights about how effective your video investments are. It's really taking all of the intelligence that iSpot has collected for creative audience and outcomes over the last 12 years and all the ongoing measurement, and making it much easier for marketers to get to those insights, to answer the questions that they have, and really cut that time down, and then really help them understand what to do next to make their advertising more effective. So that's one notion, and that's something we'll be announcing later this year that we're bringing to market in a big way. We've been investing in heavily for the last 2 years.
Solutions to speed up the process of decision making, speed up the workflow, cut back on waste, and increase efficiency.
Correct. So think about analytics and insights, really rethinking how analytics and insights work in the AI world. Now, I want to get to the creative side.
I really am curious. Are we racing to an area? Obviously, we'll have the big spots, but with so much AI infiltrating creation of ads, are we going to see it disappear?
Well, okay, so I want to make a distinction in all the creative talk, right? So there's a lot of talk about all these ads being created automatically and being inserted automatically. A lot of that lives in the SMB world. Right, so most of the platforms that we're talking about, that's a lot of SMB.
These are small buyers who can't afford to make commercials.
Correct.
So they're inputting their materials and their data into a back end of a dashboard from a platform, and then they're getting ads produced on the other side that they could never have afforded to produce themselves.
Correct, and that's where AI is amazing. But we service the enterprise segment of the market, so think about the largest advertisers for video and TV that you see out there. And in the enterprise world, the way to think about AI and creative is there's a lot of steps that go into the creative process. There's analysis of what creatives you've done and how well they've driven your KPIs. There's a lot of planning and ideation and briefs and audience research, and then there's production. So there's a lot that happens there. Where we see AI come in most importantly today is in speeding up that research and ideation, right? Where you know exactly what's working in the creative at driving your KPI. You can use it for planning, for writing briefs, for really the entire planning process. You can speed that up. You can go from what used to be 12 to 16 weeks down to days. And then components of the video production. But what occurs in creative in the enterprise world is quite a bit different than in the SMB world. So I want to make that distinction because there's a lot of chatter out there in creative, but most of it is sort of sitting in this SMB world. But it's the enterprise advertisers that are really putting in most of the dollars into the advertising ecosystem.
Well, and if we handle the integration of AI into our worlds correctly, it'll mean more money in the marketplace from the SMBs because they're going to spend money on video that they wouldn't have spent otherwise because they didn't have commercials before. And then on the flip side, when you look at the bigger ads, it means more money back into marketing because they'll spend less money on pre-production. It'll enable them to kind of step up certain elements, A/B test scenes and typeface. So that's the correct, proper, and somewhat ethical use of AI as opposed to this hyperbole and fear and swirl that we have going around us right now. And that's, I think, what you're trying to kind of like.
I think you nailed it. The SMB will actually incrementally grow the marketplace, and the enterprise it will become so efficient that more dollars will actually flow into that.
So let's talk about an area where I think AI and specifically the improvement of data. Actually, let's drop out of AI and talk specifically about data here for a second. I'm going to talk a little bit later about how, in a lot of areas of our business, there aren't real standards for data. Standards of quality. You have the MRC looking over your stuff on currency, and you obviously have to answer to your clients, but there's a lot of data vendors out there just selling data, and they call it first-party data, but it's garbage. How do we as an industry get better at requiring higher standards for the data that we're using?
Yeah, so I would first make a distinction between data and measurement, right? Because it's a different standard, right?
Totally.
There's a lot of data out there, but taking data and turning it into consistent, accurate measurement, that's a big leap. So for us, we're really looking to standardize video measurement across all formats. And that's tricky because how linear was measured before is way different than how digital is measured, and streaming and the walled garden. So really what we look to do for advertisers is take all these environments and really get down to the ad unit itself and understand the impressions for that ad unit, understand the audience it's reaching, and then be able to deduplicate those audiences across all those platforms, and then finally connect it to the outcomes. And so that's the holy grail for marketers. It's quite frankly the holy grail for iSpot. That's where we spend.
And you feel that you're closer to that level of visibility than anybody else out there?
Yeah, that's what marketers tell us, is they believe that we have the most complete, single, consistent view. And then it's also about trust, right? And that's why going from data to measurement, it's very difficult, right? Because
especially, and there's been some controversy around it in the last couple of weeks around certain other providers not necessarily measuring as accurately as they have professed to. Obviously, Schadenfreude is one thing, but it does bring the question of trust and credibility when it comes down to how do you continue to improve your systems to make them, the bleeding edge of accuracy and functionality?
I mean, quite frankly, we obsess over this. We have over 400 people at iSpot that obsess. Internally, we call it the unification challenge, right? Is bringing all video together in a consistent way. So we obsess over the partnerships that are required to bring the integrations and the right data. We obsess over the quality of our measurement. We obsess over the value that our customers get out of it, both our advertiser clients and our publisher clients. So you really have to focus and you really have to work hard because trust is earned over a long period of time. There's no shortcuts.
And you have a number of experiences. It's time and proving yourself time after time. So how long ago did you found the company?
2012.
Okay, so 13 years ago.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot transpire over that time. Television has changed as an industry over that time. What would you tell to someone who is just starting their career? Maybe this is their first can. There's a couple of people in the room who it's their first can. What would you tell someone now about where to dedicate their attention if they're interested in the television advertising business or the measurement business?
Yeah, I mean, I would tell them that they would be entering this industry at the most exciting time perhaps in the history of the industry, because not only is consumption changing so rapidly, we now have a whole new world of AI and how. And for anyone starting, for the younger folks, like this is a perfect time to really get immersed in everything AI and how it can help reshape everything from measurement, targeting, creative, and so it's an exciting time. How can you not be excited about what's happening?
I think the thing that's great about change is that if things are changing as rapidly as they are in our industry, it actually is easier for someone to come in and be a part of that change, to have an impact, because you can catch up.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can come in with fresh thinking, right? You don't have to come in and learn the old notions of how we do things, so to speak.
Well, your company has been, really the epitome of that over the last couple of years. So thanks so much, Sean, for coming in.
Thank you, Evan.
Good
Appreciate it.
This is Evan Shapiro, your cartographer for Big Brains at Cannes. Check you later.